For the record, live, this is one for the record. I'm Diana, and today is June 9th, 2014. Let's listen to the end of days, BP Earthwatch. This is actually part one, part of it, with Mike from around the world. I found this to be interesting also. Here we go.
That red color, and when you're dealing with oxygen and nitrogen, an increase in nitrogen and a decrease in oxygen.
Yeah, and you're also the electronic component to this is that our atmosphere is going to be probably 50 times more charged than what it is right now. I don't know if anybody has noticed, and we talked about this before on your show a long time ago, that the lightning would become, it would be 100 times more intense or greater than it previously was. And I'm not sure if people paid attention, but there were incidents where people walked outside a couple of days ago and the light continuously lit up. There were, I believe that MIT calculated some of the strikes were at about 54 times per second, and it sustained itself for 45 minutes.
I saw reports about that across the internet. In Arkansas, it was like that, intense lightning, and in North Mississippi, up near the campus of Mississippi State, I think, it was like that, Michael. Intense lightning.
That's right. So now we're looking at an atmosphere that will increase that charge without a storm is increasing all on its own. There'll be a phenomenon where you will have lightning without a lot of clouds, but very deadly lightning, which could potentially affect the power grid. Since it's so late in the game, I can tell you this. Some of the precautions on the power grid were not from a solar flare, but were from lightning.
I got you. Well, it makes sense because that's so much electricity that we're dealing with, and those lightning bolts are terrible. And when you're talking about 50 times, just before 50 times, before it elevated to that level, the power was incredible. I've worked around these big antennas and seen them get hit, and these huge fireballs roll down the side. A tremendous amount of energy, and you're talking about 50 times that. Well, you know, Michael, the flare that came off the sun a couple days ago, the filament release created a Hyder flare, and it lasted, I counted, for about 28 hours. And not only could you see the Hyder flare spread across the sun, which is a secondary release of energy, but you could see on the LASCO C2 the discharge of energy flowing with density out of that flare for 28 hours. You know what I mean? You could see the thickness of it. There was actual matter in that. It wasn't just light. It was a lot of matter. Not like a normal CME that you have a sharp blast and you see the definite outline of it. This thing was a steady stream of energy. Now, it's a side-glancing blow. We're supposed to start seeing the effects on the 7th. But ACE satellites are already picking up the energy. But that's just going to increase this charge, isn't it?
Yes, it is. It will effectively see, and herein lies the problem, Jesse. It's such a methodical increase, meaning that a lot of people won't take notice at first. But when the first thunderstorm spans the entire United States, and lightning is striking in over 50% of the states, well, then it's going to get people's attention. But that type of particle release is going to be devastating, and it must have somewhere to go. So they have been, a lot of power companies have been putting brand new power grounds in position where they can mitigate the destructive power of this lightning. Because I don't know if you've noticed, but the cloud formations have actually changed. There is a lower level and a higher level because the jet stream is being forced lower and lower from our perspective. But in fact, what's happening is this. As the Earth expands, the atmosphere maintains its position. and the Earth is compressing against the atmosphere above, which is causing the jet stream to drop closer and closer to the surface of the Earth. That within itself will create a phenomenon where winds will turn from a tornado is basically a vertical vortex. But can you imagine a horizontal vortex?
I've seen them before. They hit the ground, be horizontal.
Yeah, now we're going to have a multitude of these where the jet stream is being compressed over mountains and so forth. There's going to be in fact, people will just have to vacate those areas. But we're looking at these type phenomena as the days go on, and the energy release from these particles being released by the sun, which will be picked up by our magnetosphere, brought into our atmosphere, will intensify storms at least 25%.
Michael, you don't know how close what you're talking about that is here. Today I watched the national radar from the GOES 15 satellite, and both in the visible and infrared imaging for a couple of hours, had it on one of my monitors here, and exactly what you said was starting to happen, and I was sitting there with my jaw dropped. We were having all this bad weather here in the southeast, coming back over Arkansas and Tennessee and North Mississippi, kind of like it is now. We may get some before the night's over here, but that's tracking. But what was happening was in the mountains and all the way to the Canadian border, from Nebraska down into Colorado, tornadoes were busting through the mountains. And you could see this when I flicked the infrared, that the storms were going from North Mississippi to the Canadian border.
Yes. Yeah.
And I was saying that this is, and I was issuing tornado warnings out to subscribers from Nebraska to Colorado, when I thought in the morning I would be doing it in the southeast.
Jesse, I tell you, what bothers me, a tornado is one thing, with their destructive power, with this energy in the atmosphere and atmospheric compression. The average thunderstorm will be, or not thunderstorm, but tornado can effectively, with the compression of the atmosphere, a tornado could reach speeds of up to 450 miles an hour, I believe the calculation was. If that happens, there's no structure that can withstand that type of pressure. It will, the pressure on the inside of the tornado versus the pressure on the outside will actually increase its force rate around that tornado. That pressure, the instant pressure changes will likely spawn other tornadoes around it, and the destructive power will be something we've not seen before in recorded history, but it will take place.
Wow, live, this is one for the record. That's BP Earthwatch on Blog Talk Radio. Wow. Alrighty then. Moving on. Let's go to E&E News, Energy News. Let's put this down here. Alright, let's go into Japan, Fukushima. AP reporter, after going to Fukushima, there are really people getting sick. The fear keeps building. It's probably the biggest story of my life. With AP for more than 20 years, I don't want to sound alarmist or scare anybody, but this is real. Alrighty then. That was yesterday's. Let's see if there's anything new on U.S.-Canada. Concern over full plutonium flash at WIP nuclear site, triggering disaster that spreads to multiple waste drums. Plutonium-239 in main radioactive isotope and container that exploded. Anonymous employee. The warnings were ignored. They put us in danger. Wow. Alrighty then. Let's see, is there anything on the Watchers watching the world? Let's check that out real quick. The Watchers watching the world. El Hierro volcano helps to improve algorithms used by satellites. Wow. Solar Minimax. Okay, we're going. NASA and NOAA agree Solar Minimax has arrived. Minimax is not likely any other solar maximum of the space age. Wow, that's coming out of NASA. Alrighty then. I guess there was a gun pursuit. Some guy running around with a rifle in North Hollywood. They got him. Also, there is gold coming out, pure gold coming out of the tap water faucets over in Newhall, Montana. I don't know if that's because of Yellowstone. Some other channels are thinking it's because of Yellowstone. And I don't know, but there's gold in them water faucets. There you go. It's a new gold rush running over to Whitehall, Montana. Pure gold. Flakes of it coming out of your regular drinking water. I wonder if that's good for you. You never know. Might be. Alrighty then. Drinking that. Try to save it. Alrighty then. What else? That's it for tonight. Please be safe. Be prepared for anything. See? You gotta be prepared for anything. And I'll see you again tomorrow on the flip side. Okay, it's one day down. 4 to go before the weekend. You know what I'm wondering? I'm wondering if some of the lightning strikes, they were showing that on one of the channels, and the lightning strikes put like a crater in the ground. I'm wondering if lightning actually destabilizes the ground, and that's how you also get sinkholes. Ooh, how about that one? Does lightning cause sinkholes? It's a very good question to ponder. Also, here's another one, but I can't think of it right now. I should have asked it right away. You gotta always ask good questions, as Dr. Bill Deagle says. But I'm just oh, how about the Grand Canyon? Now that we see what sinkholes look like, is the Grand Canyon really was it really done just by water, or was that a sinkhole also? It kind of reminds me of a gigantic sinkhole, the Grand Canyon, doesn't it? Heads up on that. That's another question. I mean, all the sinkholes have water at the bottom, but was the Grand Canyon originally a ginormous sinkhole? Wow. Something to ask yourself. Scientists should check that out. Alrighty then. I'll see you tomorrow on the flip side. Stay safe. Please be prepared for anything, all kinds of stuff going on. Alrighty then.